Hello everyone, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Adil. Let me share my screen. I'll add MCQ by 9:05. Let us wait for others to join. Going forward, we'll start the class strictly at 9:05. No more waiting. So, please ensure that you are joining it before 9:05. Okay.
And the third one is streams and buffers, right?
Yes, I don't think like we will be able to cover entire streams today. Okay, we are not going to force, but this is the curriculum. Okay, so we'll start with streams. Probably we will try to see as much as possible. Okay, don't think that there's too much to cover and all, no, nothing like that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm adding the MCQ, straightforward, easy one, added for both the batches. If you know how generators work, it's a straightforward answer. First things first, let us go and first configure our system so that I get a auto restart of the server, so that every time I make a change to my JS files, I need not restart the server. Okay, rather it restarts by itself and just making our lives easier. That's it. Okay, similar to how we have. Okay, let us wait for 1 more minute for others to also answer your MCQs, and then we will start. Those of you joined late, okay, so from tomorrow I will start strictly by 9:05. Okay, please try to join before 9:05, and your MCQs will be posted at 9:05. Okay, yeah. Rupam has asked, ma'am, package JSON store the dependencies of installed package, store all the information about the packages we installed for use. Right. Partially correct, Rupam. Okay, this is to deal with versions and all. See, whenever you install, if you see in my screen, okay, package.json has something like this, right? This means install any versions greater than this, right? Similar, greater than this version. Okay, similarly you can also have tilde or the other notation. I am not exact, but mostly people prefer this. Okay, so there are other notations as well. Okay, package.log is something. So when I tell, let's say, so when I tell your system that install anything greater than 4 version, so okay, so generally when you are working in multiple teams, okay, when I do an npm install, okay, if you don't know what's the latest version, your system might get no new version, and your teammate might be working. Let's say you are working in 4. Okay, since I have given this arrow, it's like install a latest version anything greater than 4, right? So when your teammate is doing, there is a possibility that you get some random version like this. Okay, because that is also greater than this version, right? So when your teammate do an npm install, no, she or he will get this version installed, to ensure that both of you are working in the same versions in order to avoid unexpected issues. Okay, you have packet.log json, meaning only install this. If you see here, log json, in each of this you have a specific version, so you explicitly tell that this is the version I need. Okay, see, there is another notation as well. We will see in detail about this versioning thing. Okay, mainly it is used to make sure that all of your teammates are working in the same version only. Okay, so yeah, okay to use old version, not like that. As I told, npm install, this generally means install anything greater than 4. Okay, when you did an npm install, there might be only till 4.1. Okay, when your teammate is doing a git pull and then working on the same file, when he or she is doing an npm install, there might be a possibility that newer versions already have come. Okay, so you need to basically lock the version, that is exactly the exact name. Okay, instead of installing the other things, basically locking the version. We will see in detail during the extra class. I will try to bring out no difference of what these are. Basically you can just for now think of basically locking the version, each versions and all. Okay, so you have to learn what this is, what this camet or what this power thing is. And if you go and see the other one, can you see this symbol? Okay, so both of them means differently. Okay, for something you have only the version, right? So that is the exact version, nothing more, nothing less, but these symbols means different. Okay, so we will see. For now, understand that package.json is enough. If I try to explain all these, others are not comfortable knowing other things about package.json, so it will become a confusion now. Okay, yeah. Done MCQs. Okay, so everyone, yeah, We'll do it in extra class. I think you have a session. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think we don't have in the curriculum. Okay, I will do it this Saturday. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. Next, again, there is a package. Okay, to in order to restart your server every time you make a change to your files. Okay, so for that you will have to do npm install nodemon. Okay, so this is in day 2. Okay, let me create another folder only so that from tomorrow I'll make sure I do all these and keep app.js. What do you do? What is the command? Can any one of you tell me the command to create npm package.json? What's the command?
npm init.
Yes, npm init. Okay, it will simply ask you, all the information. If you want
You are
to
do it in day 2.
oh, shit. Thank you. Okay, it's created. Okay, so now I need to restart my. Are there any background noise from my side? No, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Some kids just playing near the playground. Okay. Let me know if it is too much of disturbance. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now npm init is done. So I need to install npm install do nodemon. Okay. This is the name node mon. Okay. Some say it as node daemon or nodemon, whatever you call it as. Okay. Do an install. Okay, it will take few minutes. Do it in your missions as well. Okay, let me know if you face any difficulties. Okay, in order to test it, let it complete for me.
Where you did, ma'am? Actually, no, sir.
In the
Oh.
terminal, npm install nodemon. Okay, half of you would have already done it. Okay, others from Tata batch, please do it. Let me know if you face any difficulties. Okay, now instead of doing node./app.js, this is how you will start the server, right? So instead of using node command, use nodemon's command. Simply instead of node, use nodemon./app.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Actually, I can't see that. Like, where you writing or anything you are doing?
Is my screen not visible?
Yeah, no, no, it's visible,
Okay,
but
very
it is
small.
working.
Okay.
I got
Is it now
now.
better in the last line? Okay.
That
So
one, ma'am, found or zero vulnerable.
yes, after this last line, I'm here. Yeah, I'm in this line. Okay, mon./app.js. Okay, instead of using node command to start your server, use nodemon and then use this name. Now if I hit enter, if you can see, it is internally using the same command what we did only, but it is also checking your file changes as well. Okay, now if I try to make any change, right, console.log, save, it will restart. And can you see hello printed here?
Yes.
I didn't restart my server. It is automatically restarted and then it is done. Can everyone, I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes. Can everyone try and let me know if all's fine? If it's not working also, no problem. No, this is just improve, enhancement. So far we just stopping the server and then starting, right? So nothing to do with the concept which we are going to learn, but yeah, install in the folder where you are having your app.js. Okay, don't install in other folders and try to fetch in here. If you wanted to do it, you can do it globally by using node npm install -g will install globally in your machine, but that's not required. Install in the main root folder only, in your immediate folder where your app.js is, then only it will work. Done, everyone? Everyone are able to do it? So every time you make a change and save, you will get this restarting and it will rerun your server. Can we proceed? Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, people from Tata batch, can you confirm if we can proceed? Okay, today too much low strength, only 27 are here. What happened? Any test or any evaluation today?
No, ma'am. Actually, already the
Done.
declared na the result.
Okay,
Yeah.
Baba batch people, do
Result
you
also
have
declared.
any? Okay, do you have any evaluations today? So many
No,
are
ma'am.
missing. So many are missing in today's class. Okay, for those of you who joined late, please ensure that you don't repeat it tomorrow also. Okay, I'll strictly start the class by 10, no, sorry, 9:05. Okay, okay. Moving forward, these are the concepts which we are going to cover. Theory part, this is more of theory, nothing to do with programming. Okay, we will cover file system, streams and buffers. Not completely streams and buffers. We will try as much as possible. Okay, okay. Now, where do I start? Okay, so yesterday we saw port numbers, right? So
Yes.
what is port number? I told in my computer. Okay, in my computer, I have multiple applications running in each of, let's say it's 3001, it's 4000. Okay, some random number. Okay, each of my applications are running in different ports. Okay, and you are connected to your internet in one single ethernet cable or your wi-fi cable, which is where you connect all your applications to the internet, right? So whenever you make a request, right, so through the internet, let's say I make a request to Microsoft Teams or any other applications, amazon.in, whenever I make a request, I am hitting some server, right? Some server, correct? For example, let us say I am going to connect to Amazon server. Okay, amazon.in. Okay, similar to how you have in a single machine, similar to how you have multiple things running in your system in multiple ports, your server also is a machine. Yes or no? Your server program, your server computer program is also running in a machine, right? So your server will also be hosting multiple different services in multiple ports. Okay, if they might be serving HTTP request, okay, they will also know file transfers, FTP, SMTP. Have you heard of? No, all are the multiple services that your server might be hosting in different ports. For example, this is in 80. If you take HTTPS, that is served in port 443, and that is the reason we told no yesterday not to use this reserved port numbers. Okay, your server, mostly your HTTP request, whatever you send from client, right? All those will hit port 80 by default. Okay, you need not configure it, but by default it will do it. Okay, if it is a HTTPS, sorry, it will hit port 443. Okay, if it's an FTP, I'm not exactly sure. Let me check. FTP. Okay, it's 21. Okay, so these are the different port numbers that your server will be hosting your services in. It will provide HTTP service in port 80. Okay, so similar to how your machine is communicating through internet in different ports, your server also will do the same. Okay, so these are port numbers. So let me go and show you in the browser only. Let us hit amazon.com.in. Okay, let me go and inspect. If I go to network, okay, let me reload it. Okay, then let us take any. Okay, this are HTTP headers. Can you see here colon 443? Can you see here 443? Okay. So if I have to tell you in depth, right? You told amazon.in, right? If you told, okay, it's HTTPS by default secure communication. Yes. So it's HTTPS. Okay. So your amazon.in, okay, will first go and hit your DNS. What is DNS? What is DNS?
Domain name server.
Yes, domain name server. Simply on a very high level, if you give a name like this, a website name, it will give you the IP address. Okay, on a very high level. Let's not go in depth and all. Okay, so this is the Amazon's IP address, remote address, if you can see. The second part is, whenever we try to access any local host, do we give this colon 8080, mentioning that my request should hit the port 88? Do we give anything here? Do we
No, ma'am.
give anything here? No, right? But
Yeah.
by default, it will be, since it is a HTTP connection, as I told you already, HTTPS, generally all servers, okay, will serve those in port 443. And that is the reason, even if you didn't mention the port, if you see here remote address, amazon.in IP address colon 4443. Okay, same format. Your local host will be translated into 127.0.0.1. This is my local IP address and the colon and your port number. Similarly, you are doing the same for external services as well. Okay. Let us try to hit any HTTP servers. I don't know if there are any live websites. Let's check. MIT.edu. Okay, this seems. If I go and inspect this and hit all, okay, can you see colon 80? It is a HTTP only. Okay, so HTTP requests are served in port 80. Okay, so this is port 80. So this is related to ports. Okay, so any doubts so far? Any doubts, guys? Can we proceed? No doubts? See, I am telling you in a very, very high level. Okay, there is an entire subject in CS networkings. Okay, not necessary. Okay, but if you wanted to go into networking domain, for sure you will have to know all these, but not necessary. From no, basics are enough from a developer's point of view. Okay, any doubts there so far?
No, ma'am, clear.
So this is about port, how
No,
your
ma'am.
server is hosting all the services. No, if it is an FTP service, file related service, 21 SMTP, some random should be there. I'm not sure of what the port number is, but that is how it's followed. Similar to your system, your server also will host multiple services in the same server itself. Okay, so depending on the port, you will have to. I'll also show you, right? Instead of doing, if you go and give :80 :443, it will also do the same. It will also you will also get the same thing only. If I try to give :80, let me try to hit, it should not serve. Can you see? They are not serving in HTTP. Okay, can't provide secure connection, so they have removed. If your service is providing both the connection, it should be available. Okay, now that is being done. Okay, now whenever I tried to hit, okay, so is any one of you aware of what is OSI layers? Did you cover networking concept in core
CSA.
CSA? Yes.
Yes.
So what is TCP?
TCP,
Transfer protocol.
transmission control protocol.
Yes, correct. Yes, Rupam or Saurabh, whoever told, correct. Uh, Sudhakar, good. What is UDP?
User protocol.
User datagram protocol.
User datagram protocol, correct. Okay. TCP stands for transmission control protocol. So this is an all very basic, you will have to know. Okay. Yeah, transmission control protocol. We will see what these are. UDP is user datagram protocol. Okay, now I will go and show you OS. Let us go and see transport. Okay, this is the OSI layer. Let me go and type for OSI layer. Okay, so there are, when you communicate between your machine, this is client. Okay, when you communicate through internet to a server, before even sending the request, okay, will be a connection made between your client and your server. Okay, so you need to pass some data from client to server, right? If you need to make request, if you need to send data, receive data, all are passing of data, correct? Data in any format, correct? So whenever you do something of that kind, okay, your data generally passes through these layers. Okay, first is your application layer, whatever we see, right? My browser is an application. Okay, my email is an application. Similarly, you have presentation layer, session layer. Okay, so let's not go into each of them detail. Okay, if you are from a CS background, I believe you will have a big detailed answer to explain just these levels. Okay, so not necessary from our point of view. Okay, so there is something called transport layer, right? So from your application, whenever you wanted to communicate to internet or communicate to other devices, give me a minute. Okay, whenever you wanted to communicate from your client to server, from your application, it goes through all these layers, then reach the physical layer, and then the internet, and even in your server machine, right? So that should be there. Let me pull that one. This one. Okay, let's say you're trying to convert, go from your, this is your user and this is another machine which you are trying to access it. So it will go from the application of my client, okay, and then it will pass through all these layers, transfer it to the internet, and then it will try to decode it. Okay, encode and decode. Okay, so this is how data is being passed from your systems and all between multiple devices. Okay, you will have to pass through all these layers. Okay, the application layer is what we see, application, presentation, session, or all the software layers. Okay, the next immediate is something called transport layer.
Yeah.
Okay, correct. So this is called transport layer. Okay, for others, those who don't know, don't worry. Okay, so this is not something to be learned in detail and all, not necessary. Just understand that whenever I want to communicate to other devices, the data sent from my machine will pass through all these layers. There are certain protocols in each of this layer. Okay, what is protocol? Rules, right? Set of rules, protocol, I'll have to follow that rules, correct? So there are set of protocols that you will have to follow in each of these layers, and in through the physical link or the internet, your system, again your receivers, right, will receive that, and they will try to access it from bottom to top, here from top to bottom and then from bottom to top. So this is how you transmit and receive data. So we are going to see about the protocol in transport layer. Okay, we are going to see the protocols in transport layer only. Okay, transport layer protocols. Okay, these are the two protocols in transport layer. Yes, I know it will be a little boring. This is theory. Okay, yeah, this is a transport layer. So as I said, this there are differences between these two. Okay, transmission as I said, both are in the transport layer. Your connection, right, between your client and server will follow any of these protocols depending on the use case. Okay, first let's go and see what your TCP is. TCP is something reliable, connection oriented. What is reliable? What is reliable? You can yes sir.
Yeah, in that we got the packets in order.
Packets in order you cannot say. You can receive in different orders, but your server will make sure that it is rearranging it properly,
Yeah,
and then
means
it is
it will get, we can get everything.
yes, correct. That is a good explanation. Okay, you can rely on the connection, you can rely on the protocol that your data will be sent somehow. Okay, mostly I can rely on this protocol. If I follow a TCP protocol, I can rely on that. By that I mean I can make sure that my server is receiving it. Okay, what way it's receiving it is based on how TCP is handling your data packets. Okay, but you can rely on it that it will for sure receive it. Okay,
So you can say, ma'am, ensure, like organizing data.
Like Sudhakar, can you come again? I don't get you.
Yeah, reliable is ensuring like
Yes,
organizing
correct.
data. You can tell.
Ensuring that the data is for sure received. Okay, whereas UDP, okay, is unreliable. You will not be able to know whether the server has received your data or not. Generally, okay, by data I mean whenever I wanted to transmit some data from client, right? So let's say you are uploading a file. Okay, a file. Do you think the entire file will go through internet and then your server will receive the entire file, even if it is a small file also? Do you think? No, that will not happen. Okay, whenever you wanted to send any data through internet, right, if you see here, when your data is passing through all these layers, right, it's, somewhere in the downside, okay, your data will be divided into chunks. Okay, your data will be divided into multiple small chunks. Okay, these chunks only will be received here. It will receive these chunks, and each of these chunk will have certain information based on, it will have certain info. Okay, based on that info, it will again construct or again build this file. Got it? How your data is transmitting in first place? Whenever you want to send a data between client and server, your file or your data or anything what you have will be divided into, splitted into multiple chunks. Okay, and then that will be sent to your server. Okay, this job of dividing it into packets, all these your transport protocol will take care. Okay, and your server will receive these chunks, and each of these chunk will have certain info based on, let's say this is first packet, or this is second packet, this is third packet. You will have the numbers here. You might not know which will receive first, right? See, I sent in 1, 2, 3 order. Due to some reasons, this orders might be delayed. Internet connection, who knows at what period, like, at what time, at what moment each of them will be, right? It might be possible that the third one is received first, and then you get the second one, or and in between you get the first one, and then you get the second one. Where you will have, this is a very brief thing. We call it as checksum or sequencing numbers. Okay, let's not go to that and all, but understand there is some numbers to identify the flow. Okay, like which comes first, what is the first packet, what is the second packet and all. Okay, so this server will use this info and then build this file. Okay, by TCP, okay, if I follow TCP protocol, okay, even if some of these packets, let's say packet 3 is missed, okay, if packet 3 is missed when it is traveling from client to server, it will resend it. Okay, there will be some communication from server to client saying that third packet is missed, so resend it. So the client will again try to resend it. Okay, so this is what I mean. This is what I mean by reliable. Even your packets got missed, or even for some reason your server didn't get those data, you can ensure that the client will resend it, and for sure you can say that the server has received it. Okay, whereas in UDP you cannot ensure. Okay, let me draw again. Client, this is server. This is basically like, TCP, how it works is your client sends a packet. Okay, your server receives that, let's say your client is sending packet 1. Okay, your server sends an acknowledgement saying first packet received, first received. Okay, so now your client know that from among 1 to 3 packets, my first one is received. Okay, so when again when I'm sending the client second packet, okay, again your server will make an acknowledgement saying that my second packet received. Okay, this is how your TCP works. Okay, your client will send some data, your server will acknowledge it that I have received the data. Got it? How TCP is working? And that is the reason, if it is not received, it will send a message to client saying not acknowledged, meaning I have not received packet 3. Okay, so please send me again. So your client will again try to send it. Too many lines, but yeah, I hope you got the point here.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, it's like, here is your data. Your client says here's packet 1, and your server replies to that saying I have received packet 1. Okay, so it follows a protocol called three-way handshake. Okay, know that it follows three-way handshake. Nothing more is needed. It will acknowledge, the server will acknowledge in simple terms. Here in UDP, it's not reliable, meaning if I have packet 1, 2, and 3, the client will simply keep sending 1, send 2, send 3. That's all it will do. Okay, your server will not acknowledge it, so your client will not know if it is sent or not sent. Okay, so that is the reason we say it is unreliable. What the difference between transmission control protocol and user datagram protocol?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so can you say which will be fast now?
DP,
UDP. Why?
because it doesn't need acknowledgement. and all.
Yes. So send one packet. You need, as I said, three-way handshake. I told you only two, right? Like send and receive. There is also, basically it follows three-way handshake. So there is a lot of latency. Latency meaning there's a lot of time involved in sending data between your client and server. Okay. Whereas UDP, you only send it. I don't bother if you got it or not. My job is done. That's all. So this is much faster.
Yeah, but unreliable.
Correct, but unreliable. So can any one of you tell me a use case like when it is when it is unreliable, when my TCP is reliable and can I make sure that my connections are not getting lost? Do you think of any use case where UDP is much more appropriate than TCP? Do you think of any use case? Think of multiple things, whatever we do day to day in your
WhatsApp
life.
calling uses.
Yes, calling, right? Calling, voice, video calls, right? So this and all, I am, yes, Zoom, for example, I will show you the connection made, the IP address in my machine as well. Okay, I am in the Zoom call, in the video streaming applications, in your voice calls and all, right? Example, let me write it. Voice calls, streaming apps, all those I am okay with some pieces of my data getting lost. Okay, unless and until I am more concerned about the speed rather than data getting lost, right? If you have in the phone calls and all, sometimes if you try to some voice will break in between, so that's
Yeah,
because your data packet is lost. Okay, so I am okay with data packet getting lost, but I am not okay with delay every time. If you go with TCP, you will get a delay. Okay, latency issue is there, not fast when you compare to UDP. So all these voice calls, video calls, streamings and all will follow UDP. Okay, done. Okay, any doubts,
no, ma'am, clear.
everyone? Adil, you are from CS background, so I know
Clear.
you will be clear. You will know few concepts, but I want it from others.
Clear, ma'am.
Any doubts you have on how TCP and UDP is working? Okay, not necessary to go in depth. Okay, if you know, as I told, right? So this question itself is an important thing.
Actually,
In
ma'am, it
first,
was teach in course CSA in a TMU.
okay, it was started, is it? Good. Then okay. Then okay, so let us go and see our TCP connection. Okay, now I have connected with Amazon, right? Let me hit Amazon. Okay, so go to your not activity monitor. Go to your terminal. Why is my Amazon site not loading? Okay, so now I should have made some TCP connection with the Amazon.in. Can you see that? Okay, if you can go and scroll down, go to any of the Amazon's URL. Okay, this is Amazon.in. Get the remote address. Okay, go to your terminal, do net stat -n. Okay, once you hit, let me maximize this and show you. So these are all the connections that I have made in the internet from my machine. Okay, active internet connection. Can you see local address? This is my thing. my port number, my stuff, all local address, right? So this is the URL which I established a connection with. So let me go and search for the IP address which I need. It is not here. Be there 52. Okay, can you see here 52.95.119? Yes, so 122 is it? Let me go back. Here. Let me clear it. Okay, can you see a connection being made? Same IP address 443 because that is the port number. Okay, so this is my local IP address and my port. Okay, so can you see here TCP4? I am making a TCP protocol like a connection with the server. You can also test this in your machine. These are the other things I have made, other websites, other things. If you scroll down, can you see UDP here? Can you see UDP here? What do you think this would be? No, now at present. The Zoom, right? The Zoom call itself, right? So I'm not sure exactly what address is it, but it is UDP. All your video calls and all will be in UDP. Clear? Any doubts on TCP, UDP? Excuse me. Okay. Done. I know this is and all our overhead information that I'm giving you, but if you don't understand, please leave it, not necessary. Okay. Yeah. Now I told I am making a I am making a TCP connection, right? Let's stick with TCP only. So now when I said this TCP has a port, no, they have multiple informations. If you can, yes. Someone was speaking. Okay, let's continue. Okay, when I say TCP, it has certain information, as I told, based on the packet number, what port, all those it will have. Okay, so when I say TCP, what is HTTP then? What is HTTP? It is also a protocol only, right?
Yes.
Then what's the
Hypertext
difference
transfer
between?
protocol.
Yes, Saurabh, correct. So what's the difference between TCP and HTTP?
It is a transmission protocol, the first one, TCP.
Yes.
But it is a text protocol, the HTTP.
HTTP follows. Okay.
Some methods.
Your HTTP is a protocol which is in application layer. Okay. Your TCP, UDP and all is in transport layer protocol. Basically, your HTTP information are all abstracted and then only it goes down, right? First your HTTP request is formed and then it goes, and with that HTTP request, you form a TCP connection and then send that. Basically, the difference is TCP manages this connection between the server. Okay, whereas HTTP tells what data you need from the server. Clear? Should I repeat? Yeah. TCP, okay, TCP ensures connection. See, ensures that your packets are received, ensure that your there is a connection between your client and server, and your packets are transmitted. All this is working fine. It will just check this only. Okay, as soon as your server receives this packet, okay, you need to mention, right, like what data I needed from the server. Okay, it will club all this packets and form whatever you asked for. And basically, if you send a HTTP request, your server will then know that you are asking some HTTP data which is wrapped in your HTTP protocol. Okay, in plain terms, TCP ensures the transmission of data, whereas HTTP is a protocol to inform your server what data I need. What data I need. Okay, that is your HTTP protocol is doing. HTTP is simply saying, let me go and do this only. If you see here, it is a HTTP request. What are the information you have in your HTTP request, guys? Whatever information you needed from the server. Am I right or wrong? Do you have any information on where, what is the packet number? What is the what is the checksum and all? You have few informations in transport layer and all. Do you have all those, how to transfer data, all those information here? The informations in your HTTP is simply the data which you wanted from the server. TCP is in the transport layer, where your HTTP is in the application layer. You wrap all the information, all the data you need from the server in HTTP protocol, and that in turn will be wrapped in a TCP protocol and then wrapped and then made a connection. Okay, and that is how your server will receive that packet, and it will see the protocol here. It is a HTTP protocol, so that it will know that you are requiring for some HTTP request, and then it will handle it. Any doubts on what TCP is, on what HTTP is doing? You can also tell, TCP contains information, on what data has received or what data is not received. These are multiple data, right? Packet 1, packet 2. What data is received, what data is not received, how I am going to send them, all these information your TCP will do. Okay. HTTP contains instructions on, how to read and write and what data I need from the server. More about the data itself rather than how the connection is being made. Any doubts? Can we proceed? That's all about the theory part, I'll have to say. Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am. Clear.
Excuse me. Give me a minute. Okay. Can we go to file systems, guys? Everyone?
Yeah, ma'am.
I'll also show you another picture which I have it. Let me quickly bring that in. Where is it? Okay. Okay, so if you can see my screen, first the TCP connection is made. That is again acknowledged. Okay, this is what I told, a three-way handshake, right? First a sync call will be made and that will be acknowledged, and then client will again acknowledge that I have received your acknowledge. Like this is the three-way handshake which I mentioned. After this handshake is made, your HTTP request and response will be served, and then it will finally acknowledge it. Okay, so this is how your entire internet itself works. All data which you ask for server. Okay, can we go to file systems?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Let's go to coding part. Enough of theory. Can we have second MCQ? Yeah, I'll post the second MCQ and then we will have the Baba Batch, have you studied file systems? Is that completed? Anyone? Added MCQ for Tata Batch. Can someone from Baba Batch confirm that if file systems are completed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's completed.
Streams and buffers also?
Yes, ma'am. We has covered till middleware.
Oh yeah, that you told me. Okay. Okay, in streams, did you see pipe and all?
No, ma'am, but I had a doubt on that. I was about to ask.
Was it covered in the class?
No, ma'am, not covered. Pipe not covered.
Okay. Probably I don't think we can cover it today. I'll try tomorrow.
Oh.
Added MCQ for Baba Batch as well. Please answer your MCQs. Easy one. Please answer your MCQs fastly. Okay, it's not a question worth of 3 minutes and all. Okay, so yeah, let me know once done. Okay, 15 and 20. Okay, mostly all are done. I think only 30 are here. Okay. Any doubts in MCQ, guys? Okay. Now, file system, again, it is a core module in Node.js, similar to how you had HTTP, right? So you have a module, core module called FS, which stands for file system. Okay. How do you import it? Const FS, which is equal to require, mention the library name. Got it? It's an inbuilt module, so you need not install and all. Okay, so what are the operations which we can do in a file, guys?
Can like edit the file, rename the file,
Rename. Okay.
and delete also.
Delete.
And transfer, like copy the file to another folder.
Good one. Copy file. Yeah, read.
And
Read is
read.
basic thing. Yeah, read,
And
write.
write, yeah. Maybe we can encrypt, like we can protect the file also, no?
That I haven't figured it out with the nodes file system. We will check if there is in the documentation. Okay, so let's go say again, it is a huge module, practically impossible to show you all the methods available in the class. We will go through the documentation. I will give you the basic CRUD operations, right? So what do you mean by CRUD operations? Create,
Yes.
read, update, delete, right? So these are, we will see how to edit. Sorry. how to edit, how to read, how to write, and how to delete. I can also show you how to make directory. Okay, we will see. I will give you if you this delete also I'll not be doing in the class. We will see how you can figure out. We can just work out like how you can find out from the documentation and then use it. Okay, so this we will see in the class. Again, I will no, these are the other operations. Okay, it's your homework to go read the documentation, use it in the files. Correct? It's practically impossible, to show you all the methods. I can just show you the module, how big it is. So do not expect to no, it's just one thing and the same format for everything as well. Okay, Node.js FS module. Okay, file system. Can you see the first link? If you can see here, there are tons and tons of methods. See how small it is. Okay, first we will see read. Okay, how to read a file, how to write it, how to append it. Okay, so I need to read it, right? So you simply go and ask for read file. Okay, there are multiple things. Okay, if briefly, if you see, there are two things: read file and read file sync, I believe. Sync. Okay, so these are two methods. Let me go back to my code editor. I have imported the FS, right? Let us remove all this. Now, let us see how I am going to read a file. Okay, so in your FS module, you have something called read file and read file sync. Can you see two things here? Can you guess what would be the difference between these two with the name itself? Read file sync. Sync meaning
Maybe synchronized. Yeah.
yes, synchronous, meaning only after it is done reading your entire file, it will move to next line. Got it? First, let's try to read sync. Obviously, please don't use it in your system. Always go for read file, which is an async way. Okay, I will show the demonstration of how to do it. Okay, I know the method name now. Simply, I know it is a function. So check what all you need. Obviously, if you need to read a file, you need to mention the file path.
Yes.
Correct. So your first parameter is path. So let me go add a simple sample.txt file. Okay, so let us have some text. I'm simply copying this, okay, and then posting it. Okay, so this is the path. It is in my same directory as well, right? Same directory, app.js and sample.txt is the same directory. So if I have to mention /sample.txt text, okay, simple, this also will work, but in order to tell you that it is a path and not simple file name, I'm using this /sample.txt. Done with the first parameter. Okay,
Yes.
put a comma and then check what are the other things. So there is a second parameter called options. We will see that, but if you can see here, there is a question mark. Question mark meaning it is not mandatory. Got it? I am telling you how to know work on, even if you don't know certain methods. This is how you will go and check for the documentation and do it on your own. Okay, yeah. If it is a question mark, please, it's not mandatory. It is an optional one. So I am not going to have it. So I can remove it. Okay, so let us, since it is a synchronous, it should return something. Can you see a return type called buffer? Okay, let us save that. let us save that in a variable, okay, and then try to print that. Let's see what that data is. Done. Let us do. Can you see, since I have restarted, no, I have enabled node mod, it's restarted. Can you see a buffer here? Everyone?
Yeah, ma'am.
So can anyone from Baba Batch tell me what buffer is? Even others also, if you know.
Buffer is the address of the data, like every chunk of the data.
Correct, exactly. Very good. Okay, so whenever I try to read a file, right? Whenever you try to read a file, so this read file method, correct? Read file method is returning me a buffer. Okay, what buffer is? It is a temporary storage. Okay, temporary storage, you can say, which contains the data, which whatever it reads, you know, which contains the data, address of the data, whatever it read from the file. Okay, so by that I mean, okay, this is how your this is your memory. Okay, let's say this is your RAM memory. Okay, so whenever I try to use this file, what your system will do is try to put in memory, right? Then only you will be able to access it. Okay, so please unmute yourself, Parthiv, sorry. Okay, if there is no data in memory, obviously you cannot run a program. Okay, everything you do will come into your memory, and then only you can access it. Okay, so when I'm reading some text file, okay, your read file, what it will do is it will put that inside the memory. Let's say hello world, or some random text. Okay, based on each size, it will let's say hello is here, world is here. Okay, so each of them would be stored in certain addresses, right? Memory addresses. How do you know 0x in hexadecimal numbers? Correct, these are memory address, okay, which is pointing to the correct word. Okay, if you have all those stuff in your read file, will be in the memory. Okay, memory, and this read file will return, okay, will return the array of this addresses 101 or whatever here address. Okay, this is called memory address. Your read file will simply group these addresses in an array, put all your address here, and then give you as a buffer. This is called buffer. Okay, a chunk of data which contains the memory address of where your actual data is. Does that make sense? Yes, Abhishek, correct. A temporary data, okay, which contains all the memory addresses of my data, of my of where my actual data is. Clear so far? Any doubts with what buffer? A temporary storage which contains the memory addresses of all the data in the file. Okay, so if you go and this will not be stored like this. I think hello, hello, like that it will be stored. Okay, now I don't want data in this format, right? Do I need data in this format? No. This buffer gives you with certain methods dot to string to JSON, if you can see. Okay, I know the text in my sample.txt file are simple strings only, right? So I can simply use dot to string. Okay, if it is some other data, if it is images and all those, this will not work. Okay, I know for sure that it is a text, so I am using it dot to string and then trying to access. Now if you can you see here my entire data in my sample.txt is printed here. Okay, now console.log before read, after. Now if you can see here,
You need to add data. Line number 10.
before read by data in line 10. I'm just trying to show you the synchronous processes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Can you see here? Before read is printed. Okay. Only after this entire synchronous process is completed and then printed, my after read is being executed. Can you understand the flow of execution here? It is synchronous, meaning it is not, happening in an async way, similar to how you will be handling it in a callback and all. It is synchronous. So immediately after returning, it will immediately return your data in form of a buffer. So I am just making it to string. Okay. Clear what read file sync is doing? Any doubts with read file sync? So every time I cannot be doing this do string. Okay. Let us remove that. If I give a comma here, can you see options, which is an JSON object, which is containing encoding and flag, two things. I am doing a JSON, giving a JSON object. Okay. It contains encoding. Encoding mean it is of memory addresses only, right? So transform it into format which I give. ASCII will contain only limited 256 or something characters, right? UTF-8 will
Yes,
contain
ma'am.
all characters, like all fancy numbers, all those it will contain, right? So better you keep it as UTF-8 only. So now if I try to print, can you see without even doing dot string, I'm actually getting a string type here. Can you see the return type? Earlier it was buffer. Now I have done an encoding, meaning I have translated all this buffer memory addresses and then encoded to you. I gave the encoding thing, which is UTF-8, so that it accepts all the different kinds of data. Okay, and then gives me the actual string itself. Okay, so instead of doing do string all the time, you can add encoding UTF-8. Yes, any doubts?
So,
Any
ma'am,
process?
where we have to use this, like if someone's some client giving us file, so we have to do it this there or what?
Yes, so let's say your user is trying to import certain data. Let us say you are trying to add, you're trying to build a web e-commerce website. Okay, someone has to add data. There should be someone called admin. Am I right? So someone who adds products details and all. Simply you cannot hard code. You should give access to someone who can add the products, add the price of the products, add all the details related to products, so that customers can buy. Correct? So instead of adding one by one, he is giving you a file. Please parse this entire file and then add it in the database. So you'll have to read that file now. Correct? So reading files will be very useful in exporting logs, writing logs, right? For this export and import and all data, huge data. If you don't want to do separately, you can do it multiple, add or delete multiple data at the same time by just reading that file. Okay. Okay, this is synchronous version of read file. Okay, I'll show you both the versions of read and write. You will have to work out how to find append and delete. Okay, so now this is synchronous, done reading the file. Okay, let us go and check Let us comment this. Okay. Now I am going to do an async operation. Okay, which is fs dot read file simply. Okay. If you go and see here, again it is asking for a path. Okay, and same options, everything same, but this time it is also asking for a callback. Can you see here callback? How do you handle async operations in JavaScript? Two ways to handle, either using callback or either using promises, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now we will see async way, doing it in terms of how to do it in callback. Okay. And also we will see how to do it in promises. There's a separate library which gives you promises to handle all these. Okay. Now read file, same, copy the same thing. Same encoding, everything applies here also. Okay. Cave here. The next parameter would be, okay, callback function. Okay. What your callback is going to do, go and ask for the parameters, like it's trying to, okay, it's not coming. Let's go to documentation, read file. Okay, this is promises, go back. Okay, where is read file? I click that only, no? Okay. This is promises. Okay. Probably this redirection thing is not working. I'm not sure. It's not redirecting me to the correct thing. Okay, we got read file. First one is path. Second one is options. Again, same thing. I will tell you what flag and signal is doing. Okay, encoding we already saw, right? By default, it's null, and that is the reason it is giving you the buffer. If you give any type of encoding like UTF-8 or ASCII, it will give you the strings or whatever the data in the file is. Okay, now second is a callback. It is going to receive two parameters, the error one and the data. Obviously, if you are reading or writing a file, you will get some errors, right? Few errors be file not even present. Okay, so these are errors. So all those error will be received in the first parameter. Second one is the actual data, whatever you read. Okay, so now let me try to print. Okay, if there is an error, if err, just print console.log error reading file. Okay, and then simply return it. Okay, if there is no error, I am trying to print the data, the entire data. Okay, now again same, before read I have, and then I am calling. Obviously this is an asynchronous process. You don't have something returned immediately. See here, it is a synchronous process, so you have, as soon as it's done executing, it will give you the data. But here it is an async process. Usually we will handle async process through callback or promises, right? So this is the callback version of handling read file. Okay, can we see how this is getting executed? Now if I go and see here, can you see before read? Okay, this line is executed. Okay, it is going and reading the file here asynchronously. Okay, and then it is moving to next line after read. Once your data is completed, this callback will be executed. Oh, sorry, let me minimize this. This callback will be executed only after your file is done reading it. Before that, line 21 will be executed. Can you understand the difference how read file and read file sync is working? That's all you will have to understand. Okay, so nothing much complex here, just the syntax. Can we try to print error? Let me remove this. Can you see here before read, after read, and then error reading file, because that file is not even present in my directory. So it's giving me an error. Okay, so stick with this only, stick with this format. Okay, much better way is to use callbacks, promises, that also I'll show. Reading file, everyone clear? Now you are going to help me with writing and all. Yes, everyone, no, one or two are giving the response in the chat, but I need answers from at least half of the class now.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone got it? Read file? Yes. Okay, then we will go to done. One operation is done. Okay, let's go to writing one. Okay, I need to write file. I'm going back to my documentation. If there is a read file, obviously there should be something called write file, right? Go to write file documentation. Okay, this is using this one. I don't want this. This is promises. Okay, this is the method. Write file. First, you give the data. In terms of writing, you need not read, right? Now you need data to write. So the first option would be the actual data. Okay, we will see. This is, I think, the promise version, I believe. Where is the other one? This is promise. Okay, what's that? This one. Okay, the first one is file name. Okay, this is a callback. Can you see callback here? This is the callback version. You have sync also. Okay, but the format, this format is same. You give the file name. Okay, why file name? On what file you wanted to write the data, right? So you'll have to give the file name. You will have to give the data, whatever you wanted to write. And there are certain options like encoding, mode, flag, and all. We will see these. And then again a callback, since it is a async way. Okay, this is the template, and you will also see certain examples. Okay, how to use it with options, how to use it with callback, all these things, it will be there in the documentation. You can need not memorize this syntax and all. Okay, simply know how to read the documentation and how to use it. That is more than enough. Okay, now let's go and do synchronous way. Okay, if I give a file name, let's give a file name called write.txt. This is the file name I wanted to write my data. Okay, let us have some data here. Cons data, a simple string. Okay, well, data to write. Okay, so this is the data, right? So to my file sync, put a comma and then check if it is asking for file name, and then it is asking for data, and then the options, right? So I'll have to give the data. Now again encoding here as well. Use UTF-8, else you will get buffers. Okay, so this is synchronous way. Obviously you will if you have any, let us see what it is returning. It is not returning anything. When I was doing read sync, it was returning a buffer. Do I need any data from write? Do I need any data from write operation? No, right?
No.
So it's not.
No, ma'am, no data.
Yeah. So it will not return anything. So I can simply write it. Okay. Can we check? Can we comment this one? Yeah. Even if it is not commented, not a problem. Now, I think since nodemon is activated, it's already done executing. Can you see a new file written here? Write.txt created. Sample data to write. Your data is written. Simply pass the data to the file. Okay. Now, I have already the write.txt file. If it is not there, it will create one and do it by default. Got it? If it is already, let us change this. Okay, let us try to give another data. Now, if you see, it is not creating another write, rather it is going and modifying the data in write.txt itself. Did you notice another behavior here?
Overwrite.
Yes,
Yes.
edit.
Yes, it is not appending your data, it is overwriting it, meaning your entire data you had earlier is completely lost. Got it? See,
Yes.
now I told you that is one behavior to be noted, and we saw some flags, right? Here, flag. If you put a comma here, you can also pass something called flag. Let us go and see what that flag is. Here is the flag. Okay, they say these are the default is W and these are the other system flags. Go and see what it is. Again, redirection wrong. I don't know why it is not working. Yeah, it's working in the same, but when I open in the another tab, it's not working. Okay. By default, for write, what did we have? W, right? So let's go and check W. Open file for writing. The file is created if it is not existing, or else, or truncated, meaning it will be added in the same file if it is already present. Now let's say I don't want to create a new file and all. I want the system to throw an error if a file is not already present. Here I gave write.txt. Let us give write1. Okay, I don't have that in my folder. If I now try to save it, can you see write1 being created?
Yes, ma'am.
So first it will check if the file is already present in my directory. If it is not present, it will create one. Okay, this is the default behavior which you can see by the meaning W. Okay, let us say I don't want to create a new file and all. If it is not present, simply throw an error. Can we try that? Setting it. If you wanted to change the default behaviors, give the flag, which is again what do you need to pass? WX. Now if I try to say, it's already exists,
Yeah.
so it's also throwing an error. And also if you give some random thing, okay, what is the meaning of WX first? Okay, like W but fails if the path exists, meaning if it is already existing, it will fail. Okay, it will always try to create new files. Got it? What W and WX is? W is the default. Okay, WX, what it will do is same every behavior and all same. Okay, if it is already there or if it is already present, it will throw an error. If it is not already there, it will simply create a new file. Well, you can use this to avoid this overriding error, right? Earlier, when I had this file, okay, when I changed this data and I gave write itself, let's say sample3. Let's remove this flag. If you go and see right here, sample3, entire data, previous data is lost and then your new data is appended. This is something, risky. You don't want people end up doing this, right? So if you, let's say you wanted to always create a new file whenever a write sync operation is being done, always create a new file. So simply put flag WX and then it will give you an error if it is already present. See, it is giving me an error that's saying that it is already present. Please change the file name so that I create a new file. Now see if it's creating. It will be only success if it is a new file. If it is an already present file, it will simply throw an error. So these are the two modes which we saw already. So these are the other modes, open for reading and writing. This is the other way around, like W plus only, but fails if the path already exists. So based on your use case, you can change the default behavior. Similar to that, you also have read as well. Open file for reading, an exception occurs if the file does not fail. This is the default one. If you give R plus, same open for reading and writing. Okay, and you have another thing called A. We will see that later. Okay, when you have write sync, you will also have, clear with this part? Everyone, any doubts? Let's comment this for now. Okay. Shall I comment it? What would be the callback version of this one? fs dot write file. Simply mention name, callback write dot txt. Okay, again a data. Options I don't want. Okay, if you want, you can give encoding. Encoding UTF-8, and then callback. Last one would be the callback one. So this will simply contain error data only, I believe. Let us go back to the documentation. Go check for read file sync. I got it. Click that. Sorry, not read file sync, read file only. Okay. This is promise version. This is also promise version. Did I miss it somewhere? Write file data and options. This is returning a promise. Right. This is just right. This is the one, but I'm not sure why it's given promise. But yeah, let's see it in the code only. Okay. I was just expecting this. Okay. Can you see callback? And then it is a no param callback, meaning it is a write operation, correct? There is no data or nothing to read from and all. So it is a no parameter callback. So simply if you wanted to print, say, just to show you when it is being executed, I'm trying to log something. File write completed. Now, if you can see here, new callback file, again sample 3. Okay, after, if you can see this one, this line, before read, after read, that is for read operations. I haven't commented that out. If you see here, file write completed is being don't always rely on this node mod. Okay, sometimes your changes might not get reflected. Let us try to comment this read and all so that I don't. Console.log. Okay. Now let me try to run this. Okay. Before, after, and then the file write completed. Okay, so once this file write operation is done completing, whatever you wanted to do, you can do it inside the callback function. So now you already know the synchronous way of reading and writing. Now what you will do is go and try to find out an operation that will not overwrite my thing. Right? See here, if you see, Write operation is overriding, right? The entire old data is lost and then it is overriding the new data. I just wanted to preserve that old data and simply add stuff to it. Okay, go to your document node.js, find the suitable method, and then tell me. Now your read and write is done. Sync way, async way, both I have showed you. Go and find out, guys. Can anyone of you look into your documentation? Search for method which is implementing this one and then tell me. No answers? Okay. I have got one. Others also?
Ma'am, I have a one doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, when to use synchronous one and when to use asynchronous?
Let us say you are reading a data, right? So when you wanted to, let us say you are the next immediate operation, right? The next immediate operation, you have nothing else to do, but just wait for the reading to complete, right? When you are dependent on the content of the file, okay? This will be a very rare case, okay? When you are dependent on the content of the file, okay, before you proceed to next, in that case, right, it makes much more sense to use synchronous operation, because only if you get the data, you can proceed with that next, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So when you have some dependency on the content of the file, you can do that. But that would be a very rare case. No, even then try to do it in a callback way only.
Right.
Okay.
So most of case we use asynchronous.
Yes, sync only, asynchronous way only. Don't try to use this method in productions
Okay, ma'am.
or in your project also. Yes. Did you find out, guys? There's only one answer. I want answer. Go to your documentation. This is how, I showed you the entire module. Do you think it's, everything is similar? Read is exactly similar to write, right? Correct. So yes, I got few answers. There is something called append file. Okay. Simply go to that. Similar to read, everything is same. Okay. Just use append file and then go forward. Let me show you. Yeah. I will show the async only going forward. Fs dot append. Here also you have two methods, right? We are going to use the first one, append file. Now let me use the same file only, write.txt. Let me give a new data. I'm giving it as plain string itself. Again, encoding UTF-8. It is a no param callback. Okay, similar to write, similar to this one, it is also a no param callback. So if you want to do some operations after appending the file, you can do it. Can we check how this is behaving? Same file. Previously, write.txt only has sample3 data. Now, if I try to save this, can you see new data being appended?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is what you have to use. Okay, dot append file sync behaves in a synchronous way. I'm not going to show you that, but it's understood, right? Okay, so let's say I wanted to add in a new line. Simply put this escape sequence characters \n will move your content to your next line. Let us put new data 2 and save. Now if I go and ask for write, can you see it is being printed in the next line? Everyone? Okay. So edit is done, write is done, read is done, right? So go and find what you can do to delete a file. To delete a file. what you can do to delete a file. Two minutes only. Quickly, don't search for delete. It will not be there.
Reset.
Reset. Okay, let's try to find out. Someone is giving reset as answer. Let's try to find out what reset is doing. Is there any method called reset? I don't find here anywhere. Okay, let me go to that. I don't see anywhere here.
Okay, okay. For delete, we can use write file again and pass it blank,
Empty string.
empty string.
Uh,
For delete, as I remember.
that will delete the content of the file. Yes, logically correct. If I pass some no data here, right, this one.
Right.
If I don't pass any data here, it will obviously delete the content of the file. Correct. I want to delete this entire file from my directory itself, not delete the content.
Delete. Is it
Okay.
about the
Remove. Is there any method? I am telling you to go and check it in the directory. Is there any method with name remove? I don't find any.
Unlink.
Yes, exactly. Unlink. Okay. This is promise version. I don't want this. I think it's there only in promises, is it? No, it's there here also. Okay. Can you see unlink? What unlink does? You will find that in any of the explanations. No explanation. At least this one. Okay. Asynchronously removes a file or symbolic link, whatever you give that. No other arguments than a possible exception, complete callback. Okay. Got it? Removes the file. I want that to be right. So let me copy this entirely. In order to use this kind of an import, we will have to change it. It will not work in our current thing. Now I'm going to remove it. So use fs dot unlink. Let us say I wanted to delete .txt only. Okay, I'm not going to save it. Again, it is a callback. If you go and see here in the unlink.
Error handling.
Okay, so it is asking for, okay, path and the callback. Again, it's a no param callback because if it's deleted, what you wanted to do, nothing, right? I think, no, in the example, they have given one param. Okay, so you cannot entirely rely, this as well. So just look through all your possible cases. Okay, if it is a logical use case, definitely you will have the way to achieve it. See, if the file is not even present, how will it delete? It will be an error, right? So that error will be passed here. So if it is an error, simply print error or this throw error. Else, just print write.txt is deleted. Can we save it and check? Everyone?
Yeah.
This is again, even in this, you have sync and async and all. If it is a huge file, deleting a file itself will take time. Have you tried to empty your recycle bin? It will take time, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I go and see, can you see right here? Let me delete all the files. Can you see right one? No. I'm doing append also. That is the reason it's coming again. Append right and all. Okay, so we will have to be careful. What are the other things we are trying to do? Now, right one is not present. Right is present. I am saving it. Can you see right being deleted? So this is how you delete a file. Okay. Done with read right. Now tell me how will you, this is simply adding, let's say you are going to write a file, right? When I'm writing a file, let me, write. Let us say I don't want to put it in immediate directory. Let's say I wanted to create a folder saying files and then put that callback.write inside that. basically I wanted to make a folder and then put this file inside that. Instead of just putting the file as it is, wanted to create a folder inside day3 saying my files and then put my file there. What is the method? Go and check law. If you have worked in terminals, you would know.
mkdir.
Yes, make directory. Okay, so I need to make a directory first. fs.mkdir. See, there also you have sync and async. Okay, make directory. Now I wanted to create a folder, right? So what I will do is I will simply mention the files, folder name, my files. Okay, this is the folder name I wanted to. Again, there are options. If you don't want, leave it. Okay, let's leave that options. And there might be error in getting your callback, right? In making the directory, there might be error, right? So that error object. Now, after simply I do it in this way, right? Let me put it above. Simply if I make a directory and then write it, since these are asynchronous operations, right? When I go and write it immediately, my files would, there is a possibility that my files is not even created. Am I right or wrong? This is an async process. So when line 33 is executed, right? So it will do asynchronously and move to the next line. So when it's trying to do again a asynchronous process, it will move to next line. So when these callbacks are getting executed, or when this callback is getting executed, right? Like whenever it is trying to write, I cannot assure that this my files would be created already. That folder is already created. So instead of writing it in the next line, why don't I write it after my directory is created? So this is the callback after my directory is created. Am I right or wrong? Yes. So after my directory is created, then write the file. Understood how to do it? So I'm dependent. This is what I told, right? You can also make it as a synchronous process. You can also, if you wanted to do it, cut. And if you wanted to do it in this way, make it this as a synchronous. So when this, only after this is getting completed, this will get executed, right? But even then, I don't want any time consuming synchronous processes in my system. So I can simply do it after the make directory is completed in an asynchronous way itself. So now, if you see here, let us handle the error. If error, throw error. Let's see, we have some error here. This is because of unlink. Now let me stop my server and start it. Okay. Read-only file system. Where am I trying to create? Probably I don't have any options to do it. Error -30. Okay, that was the reason. Okay, when I give it as a path, it is trying to find that path. It is not already present, and then it was giving me an error. Now, can you see a folder being created? And inside that folder, if you see here, data is not defined. Obviously, I have commented that out. Let us try to have some random text. Let us delete this. File write completed. So it created a directory, and that also it is not doing. Okay, now there is a mistake. Can you find out? Okay, anyone of you think what am I doing in the write file? I'm giving path is wrong, right? Path is wrong. Now this is not just callback write.txt. It is my files slash, right or wrong? Now my directory has changed, right? I simply give callback, it will simply go and put it there only. Now if I try to stop and then hopefully this time it should run. Let's see. Oh, not rename. Okay, move to trash. Okay. You see, file is being, this path was wrong earlier. I gave callback right only, so it is just trying to append it here. Now my path has changed. Let us say I want to create multiple folders like this. Test1, and inside that let's have app, and inside that, you know, let's have pkg, all these some package folders and all. Something a nested folder. Now what you need to do? Even if I do it this way, this will give me an error. Can you see here, no file executed? Make directory by default will only create only one. If you wanted to create multiple things, put a comma, add options. Okay, this is the place where you will have multiple things to configure. Can you see mode or recursive? Recursive meaning the exact thing what we wanted to achieve. As long as I have folders, keep on creating them. Okay, that is the meaning. Recursive, true. So now if I try to run, if you see here, my files as test have an app. Let me, and then inside that I have another folder, inside that I have another folder, and inside that I have the callback right. Okay, too much of demonstrations on this. Okay, so there are multiple things. Again, make directory, make sync, how to rename file, how to copy. Do it as a homework. Let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, now let us see one other simple way. So if you can see here, I'm making a directory. Inside the callback, I'm writing the write file. Let us say I wanted to read the file again. Read that file again. Do you see a callback inside a callback and then inside a callback? Do you see the problem here?
Callback hell.
Yes, this problem is popularly called as callback hell. Okay, imagine you wanted to do sequence of operations. After read, let's say inside the callback of this read, after giving a path, right? Inside the callback, do another operation, append file, do something. Might be the use case might come like this, right? So it is called callback hell. This is not much readable. It will work still. It will work. So what is the solution to avoid this? What is the other way of writing asynchronous processes? What is the other way of writing asynchronous processes?
Promises.
Yes. Promises came in ES6 after that only, that async await later part. Okay, callback hell. Let us see the promises version of these files and all. Those promises will be in another package. Let me name it as fs promises, which is require fs/promise. Can you see here? /promise. So this library, okay, if you go here, fs promises will have all this will have only the async. Obviously promises is an async, right? This will have, if you go and ask for read file, it will only have only one read file. Okay, so read file, let me try to read wri.txt. Everything is same encoding. Instead of returning a buffer alone, it is going to return a promise. That is only difference. So you can simply name it as read promise object. Okay. Now, how will you handle promises? Dot then fulfilled, everything same. Whatever you wanted to do, you can do it. You will get the data here. You can console.log your data here. I think how to handle your promises and all is should be known by now. Okay, console.log data. Obviously, you will get this decoded data if you see, an encoded one, so that you will have to give this encoding part UTF-8. Now, can you see right? Text in my wra.txt is being read. Okay, so this is a promise, right? What is the short form of handling promises? Async functions. Simply give a function, read my files. Put this function as async. This is a promise. Simply cut this and then paste. Add what keyword now? What is the keyword you will use? Simple way of handling promises.
Await.
Yes. Await. So I will get the data itself here. So I can simply print them. Console.log data. Now I need to call this function. Read my files. Obviously, my server crashed due to multiple changes. Some error. Okay. I have to comment this. Same part I'm repeating. Through promises, you can use this async await and then handle. Similar to read, all methods which we saw, right? Append, write, all are available in your promise base also. Simply use this async await keyword and you are done. No need of multiple callbacks and all. Any doubts? No? Have you tried to find rename and all? Work, practice. Okay. Practice on all these things. I will add MCQ. I didn't even start streams today. No problem. But I hope file systems are clear. Very important in terms of interviews and all. They will ask you streams more importantly. So these, the concept of stream itself came from, these are small data, right? Like if you see the size of this file, can I get the details? Reveal in folder. Probably I'll get it there. If you see the size of these files, all are 7 bytes, 10 bytes, very few, very small in size, that it is okay to read the entire file data and then print it. Okay. Let us say you have a file of 500 MB or 300 MB. Your program will stuck, right? It will stop executing. So that is how you will use streams to handle those kind of huge files and all. These small files and all, you can do these operations. Any doubts, guys? File system, very important concept. Adding the MCQ, simple MCQs related to node. If you have any doubts on file systems, you can ask me. Added MCQ for Baba batch, third MCQ. Posted for Tata batch as well, third MCQ. So the another one is just theory, but we haven't discussed in class. Let's see how many of you get it right. Fourth MCQ posted for Baba. Yes, posted fourth MCQ for Tata batch as well. Hey, thanks, Kanhu. Yeah. Do your homework. Okay, so by homework, I mean, go through your documentation. See at least, can you try to find out what your nodemon is doing? I'll not tell you. Okay, my nodemon is doing something to detect the changes of my files. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, try to find out. Obviously, it is there in FS module. Try to find out which function your nodemon is internally using to detect the changes in your files. That's would be a good one. You can go through the documentation and then find. Okay, we will see tomorrow's streams. Okay, similar to reading and writing only, just that how to do it with huge data, huge files, right? When it's a huge file, obviously it is not but it's not possible to load the entire file in the memory and then read it, correct? So you will have to do it. Yes, attendance created. Oh, probably I didn't do it for one batch, sorry. Yeah, created, Vivek. Yeah. So when it's a huge file, you will have to do the same thing. Put it in a small buffers and then send it in a stream. Okay, we will see what stream is, how it's working, all those tomorrow.
Attendance not created.
Yes, created.
No, I'm not created.
Now,
For Tata which?
first I did it for
Yeah,
Tata
now
batch
created.
only. Okay, maybe some errors here. Okay. I did it for first Tata batch only,
Yes.
then I forgot and then did it for Baba batch after Vivek told. Yeah. So tomorrow we will see streams, and I think we are done with just streams we are left with. No problem. Tomorrow we will see that, and tomorrow we will see more about the request, right? We saw request and all express request from the API. So how to handle them, how to query all the details of the request. HTTP request has multiple details, correct? So you will have to fetch all those details and then serve accordingly, right? So we will see about that tomorrow. Any doubts? Good night for those of you who are leaving. Good night. Any doubts, guys? Others?
Tomorrow we will see like how to convert buffer into.
So ma'am, actually, okay. We can
Yes, one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like tomorrow we will see, ma'am, like how to convert the buffer to data.
Buffer to data,
Like
a simple form we saw already, right? Reading files. It was
Yeah,
giving me buffer. Yeah.
there is a one more method, no? Like on that listening to data and
Yeah, that is all
creating
streams, right?
things.
Each
Okay.
buffers you will receive it in listening to the data and all. Yeah,
Mhm.
we will see that more about that. That is, I don't know why they have included all that in the entire in a day itself. Streams and file system, node mod. You have timers also. By
Okay.
seeing the curriculum itself,
Ma'am.
I decided let's keep this timers aside. Practically not impossible to cover this much.
Timers never cover, ma'am.
Oh, didn't cover set immediate and all.
No, like in this module, it's not covered. Like yes,
Okay, okay.
JavaScript it is covered, not here.
Okay. Yeah, in here we just the same thing. Set timer and set interval is exact same here as well. You have an additional thing called set time immediate that I will handle. Yeah, good night, Kanhu. Good night, everyone. Yeah, that we will have to see today itself. So I just removed that from the syllabus today. I don't want it to overload. Even I thought like streamers at least let me give an introduction. Even that was not possible. Okay, no problem.
And ma'am, yeah, and pipe method is also because I was working on a CSV file and
Okay.
it was a big file and I have to use that pipe method, but I didn't like how to use pipe,
Yeah.
what pipe is doing.
Yeah, we will see. I have actually downloaded one huge file and all, and I kept it for demonstration. I think this is the one. 300 MB of text files. No, I just downloaded it and to show you the demonstration. Simply, if I say it's a huge data, where will I go for the huge data files? I simply
Right.
downloaded it in the file and kept. But yeah, we will see tomorrow.
Oh,
Okay. We'll see that and the routing and all. We will see. Hopefully. Yeah. Others, Sudhakar? Yes, go ahead, Sudhakar. What was your doubt?
Yeah, ma'am, actually you have told now like there will be a CSA round of 3 like in product based company. I'm not sorry, DSA round.
Yes.
So when they will ask all these things, JavaScript, Node.js, and the backend parts.
If you go for a full stack developer role,
Yeah.
and if that role specifically asks for these tech stack, you can show. Okay, they will be having round specific to full front end development only. Okay, front end or back end, whatever role you are applying for. See, you cannot expect all of them to be asked in an interview based on the role. Okay, if you are applying for a front end role, possibly you will be getting questions related to JavaScript and React. Okay, if you are applying for a backend role, they will not specifically ask for Node unless and until the company uses Node, but more of design oriented, how your backend architecture should be. All those will be, but for a fresher, from freshers point of view, I don't think they'll ask architecture and all. Okay, it highly depends on the company you are applying, Sudhakar. Okay, so you can actually know if you think that it is not useful, we are the losers actually. Okay, these are all the stepping stones to build a good project to put it in your resume. Okay, only using these technologies you can build projects. There will be a separate round with the interviewer, hiring manager. Okay, they will discuss only about the projects which you have done. You will have to explain what technology you used, what are the features your product, your application has, how did you handle this. If you say I'm doing it in Node, how did you handle files, or how Node is working internally. Okay, what engine it is using, like what is event loop in Node.js. Okay, how will you create a server, what is the use of Express. All these will be theoretical questions. If you say that you have done a project in Node, you should be able to answer everything in Node. Okay, only in project round it will be highly useful, Sudhakar. Even in big product based companies, you have a round with hiring manager which they will discuss about the projects which you have done only. So only if you have done some projects you can explain, else it will be very difficult. Now people with experience, if you blabber something, right, if you have not done your project and if you try to blabber within few sentences of yours, they'll find out that you haven't done the project. So few people try to do that even when I take interviews, right? It happens. No, few people will try to make up that I did this project, it has this features and all. They'll dig deep dive and ask you like, what did you do? How did you overcome? What are the difficulties you face? You cannot simply lie without doing a project is what I wanted to say. Yeah. Okay. Dheeraj, Prag, any doubts?
No, ma'am. Good night.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Dakar, Prag, Dheeraj, good night. Bye. Let's see tomorrow.